Besides mental illness and gun control, one of the main issues that many overlook is the fact that there might be another entity that's hidden that many people are unaware of. The striking resemblance of the delayed police response, likeness in the age of shooter, altogether targeting the same specific setting of the massacre, and all the while the catastrophes having somewhat resembling casualty counts. In order to understand this, you need to understand that back in medieval periods, there were very elaborate works dealing with magic. Magic either uncertain and often unsavory in those days. Dark circles at the crossroads, haunts, various forms of black magic. All these gathered together under the general term of the astrolight, or the generative principle. Astrolight literally means the convergence of star energies upon the atmosphere of the Earth by weather and measures of meteorologic report. The effects of the stellar intervention upon Earth's atmospheric entities become the basis for an elaborative structure in magical thinking. The ancients believed the Earth was structured by the same principles as the human being itself, that it was a living thing that brought forth life and had invisible principles, and that there was an invisible structure of the Earth like the aura of the human being, and that there were these dark spirits that desire to live and can only do so by attaching itself to the weak-minded or someone of low frequency, and convince that vessel to engage in its own deeds and endeavors, even if it were momentarily. Some believe that multiple spirits can inhabit one body, and by that time, the individual was doomed indeed. The most recent massacre in Texas would be a blatant understatement by labeling it sinister. This was an act of pure wickedry. One can only believe came from an alternate source to bring out a plot that's deep within the Earth's dark forces in them, not their own mind. Parents here were unable to get to their own children and was stopped by police who were in fear of one person with a gun. Only a dark entity could put that fear in them. Not only here, but in every one of the 5 instances that have identical circumstances. Here we're witnessing a high school student take cover plead for their lives. Here in Florida, arguably one of the worst massacres of them all, ironically, every one of the 5 school shooting massacres all begin with a news report stating this is the worst massacre of them yet. Peculiar. Witness here the shooter in this video speaking to his brother moments after he was caught.
Why'd you do this? Don't even laugh at me. You're my brother. I love you. I want you to, you're people think you're a monster now.
A monster? Okay.
Just, you say you have a demon, try to find God. Because God is good. God will be there for you. Just, when you're thinking in your head, just try to connect with God, alright?
Okay.
I mean, dude, I love you too, bro. You don't know what you want to do with your life. You didn't know what you wanted to do with your life. How do you not know what you want to do with your life? You talk about the army.
I know.
You talk about... I think that's really it. You're only 19, dude. You know how many years you had ahead of you? You know how many years you had? Years! You're still stuck in your teenage mindset and you did this dumb shit. I wish I could have prevented this. Because I feel like this is a big part of like my fault also, because you know we grew up together. Like,
here we're hearing shots fired just outside the Virginia Tech school shooting, where the fatalities totaled 32 people. Here we're witnessing Christina Anderson being carried out of Virginia Tech by officers after being shot relentlessly by Song Cho. Now, Christina, I have to ask you, and I'm sorry, do you remember the image of him vividly to this day?
Yes, he had 2 guns, yeah. He had a 9mm and a .22.
And what was he doing in that room you were trapped in?
He was shooting people one by one by one.
Cho shot her 3 times.
I told myself to hold on and to stay very low. I pretended to be dead.
Let us not forget the 32 people that were killed that day and their families. Cho had made these chilling videos just days before he committed the murders.
You had 100 billion chances in the ways to have avoided today. but you decided to spill my blood. You forced me into a corner and gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you have blood on your hands that will never wash off. You just loved crucifying me. You loved inducing cancer in my head, terrorizing my heart, and raping my soul all this time. I didn't have to do this. I could have left. I could have fled. But no, I will no longer run. If not for me, for my children, for my brothers and sisters, the chief. I did it for them.
Similar hair-raising videos were made by the Columbine shooters back in 1999.
I'm gonna pull out a shotgun and blow your damn head off!
Where they murdered 15 students and injured 24.
I'll rip off your head!
Many speculate mental illness, others speculate demonic possession. The eerie photographs of the two assassins moments before they took out their classmates in a plot to destroy the entire school went awry as their plan was foiled by the pipe bombs not igniting properly. So they took it upon themselves to make a spontaneous plan B and just decided to start opening fire on random individuals. They would seek out the most hated by themselves, including the athletes of the schools, by inquiring about the students that were wearing white hats and other minority students, students of color. This is a very ugly plague of the country that was enacted and brought about by these two assassin individuals. Many say mental issues are not being properly identified and treated. Many think it goes even deeper than that, deeper than mental illness, because in the Columbine incident, these were two kids that shot a school together. Just a mental illness would affect an individual to carry out an act either random or relative to their circumstances. In the Columbine incident, the mental illness would have to have been contagious for it to spread from one individual to the other to carry out the same act. So it goes beyond mental illness alone. These are very specific acts of terror where schools seem to be the forum or target. Many think it's dark spirits preying on the weak-minded and coercing them to carry out these very specific acts where they specifically target schools. Did you see the Columbine class photos just before the massacre? Many think they look possessed. And lastly, if not the most chilling, Adam Lanza, after opening fire on his own mother's face, then decided to drive to Sandy Hook Elementary School and open fire on young school children. Driving this car and using this gun, he soon after committed suicide. He gained access to the elementary school by shooting through the glass and climbing through the window, then opening fire on hopeless elementary school pupils just before their Christmas vacation. A terror like the city had never seen before.